Wildside is produced by Rockwater TV with support from Tennessee State Parks, where you can discover our state's diverse heritage through spectacular landscapes, family-friendly recreation, and affordable lodging. Tennessee State Parks, fun and adventure naturally. And also with support from Nissan, working together with the Nature Conservancy to fulfill its mission of conserving land and water on which all life depends, and now celebrating 40 years of conservation in Tennessee.
Hi friends, welcome to the Wild Side. I'm Steve Hall. When a major manufacturer owns massive chunks of wilderness, there's usually not much mystery about what happens next. Bulldozers move in, wildlife moves out, and lush landscapes of greenery are replaced by acres of concrete, steel, and smokestacks. And that's progress, especially for communities desperate for jobs. But land bought by Bridgestone America several years ago has a much different storyline than what you might expect from some corporations. What Bridgestone did, along with the Nature Conservancy, is not only good for the economy, but for lasting land preservation.
So we're standing right on the boundary of the Bridgestone Nature Reserve at Chestnut Mountain, the boundary with numerous public lands. And we're at this beautiful point right on the edge of the Cumberland Plateau, where the Cumberland Plateau drops down into the escarpment and then into the Caney Fork River, which flows into Nashville. And you've got this incredible view where, as I look to my left, I look to my right, there's really no sign of man. And so how many places in Tennessee can you come to that are so wild and remote? And if you stand back and look at it from an aerial view, we're a part of this long continued river of green that starts in Alabama and goes all the way up into Pennsylvania, New York, Maine, and Canada.
This incredible river of green gives a cloak of invisibility to the world of wildlife that lives beneath it. When unexpected visitors peek under the cover, a timber rattlesnake sounds a warning to watch where we step. A salamander finds a deeper place to hide so fast that slow motion is needed to get a good look. And when the wheels of an ATV come to a sudden stop, this tiny toad fails to recognize it has been rescued from the road. The creatures seen and photographed on Chestnut Mountain give us clues about the wealth of wildlife.
So a healthy habitat is one that's very diverse. And when you say diverse, you look out and you don't see the same type of tree. You don't see the same type of plant. You need multiple types of trees, multiple types of plants. That also brings you multiple animals into the forest.
But the quality of the forest on this mountain has yet to reach its peak. Biologists Trish Johnson and Alex Weiss of the Nature Conservancy have been working alongside environmentalists from Bridgestone America to restore these woodlands to their natural state.
Going back for a while, it was originally envisioned this property to be a corporate retreat. So we kind of morphed a little bit from that vision into maintaining and being the shepherd of this property. We've maintained some pieces of the land to reintroduce species, to make more habitat for the animals, which, you know, an old-growth forest like this or forests like this don't really naturally, create anymore. So we had to create it ourselves, and we've been doing that for years. And so then we got finally to a point of, is this really what we should be doing, or are there better experts?
Bridgestone turned to the Nature Conservancy for that expertise, and after 3 years of improvements, the company decided the best thing to do was to donate 6,000 acres of forest to the Conservancy for continued land management and to prepare the property for public access.
Here we have a place that's an almost equal distance from Nashville, from Knoxville, and from Chattanooga. And it's just one of the next places in Tennessee waiting to be explored.
The Bridgestone Nature Reserve at Chestnut Mountain rises above the small Middle Tennessee city of Sparta with its courthouse square in White County. The community stands to benefit from additional ecotourism when the reserve is ready. Bridgestone has already given 10,000 adjoining acres to the state of Tennessee for a wildlife management area. The reserve is right next door to Virgin Falls State Natural Area.
What we have here is a really long connected corridor of over 65,000 acres of public lands and protected lands. And this is a place that's really important for protection because not only for wildlife and for nature, but it's important for the local economy. This area is really a driver of economic development in rural communities.
To widen the path for ecotourism, the Bridgestone Reserve at Chestnut Mountain is connecting to Virgin Falls and the wildlife management area by trails for hikers, campers, backpackers, and eventually horseback riders. And as part of its Working Woodlands program, the Nature Conservancy is strategically offering carbon sequestration credits to companies that want to offset their pollution from industrial emissions and energy consumption.
As we breathe, right, we're emitting carbon. As the trees breathe, they're taking in carbon and emitting oxygen. That's the most simplistic way to think about it. But as larger corporations emit carbon in the form of pollution, or when we're emitting carbon by driving our vehicles, there's a certain amount of carbon that continues to build up in the atmosphere. And so we want to improve the amount of carbon that's sequestered in the trees and brought in by the trees to improve the air that we all breathe. There is science that shows us how you can manipulate, manage that forest to improve the carbon and increase the amount of carbon that's sequestered on the forest. So we're doing monitoring and management to develop those carbon credits, and then we're selling those on the voluntary market.
Logging as part of the land management can also contribute to the region's economy, and the timbering is designed to improve the quality of the forest by allowing certain trees to thrive and removing ones that inhibit a healthy habitat.
As we look around at the forest, while this looks like a healthy forest, it's got signs of poor health.
We have lost a historic presence of a pine tree and the associated trees that go along with that in our forest, and it's a pine tree called shortleaf pine.
Right here where Trish is standing, this is a shortleaf pine. And this is a tree that across Tennessee, just in the past 30 years, has declined by 50%. So it's really a tree that was incredibly common, a very important lumber tree, has some of the best lumber for furniture and for construction.
And so what we started doing with Bridgestone is doing restoration of that type of forest. And that includes cutting away some of the trees like you see behind me and kind of starting from scratch, leaving some of the parent or adult trees in the forest to provide seeds, and then also planting some of the shortleaf pines and then do restoration activities.
Those restoration activities include prescribed burning. That's what it will take to get through the leaf litter left by other trees dominating the landscape and preventing seeds dropped by adult shortleaf pines from taking root.
Fire comes through here. It's a low intensity fire. It burns off all of the leaves and it creates patchy areas where seeds can grow.
Chestnut Mountain makes a personal connection with Alex, reminding him that land and water around the world are frequently interdependent for the survival of diverse environments.
I was born and raised in Jamaica in the West Indies. I was raised on a farm in the foothills to the Blue Mountains. And in many ways I feel like I'm at home here because the scenery is very similar. The mountains, the forests. And in a way, I feel there's a connection here between the Cumberland Plateau, between Chestnut Mountain, and with the Caribbean. Because although it sounds crazy, many of the birds that are in Jamaica, that spend the winter in Jamaica, actually nest in the Cumberland Plateau and then migrate and spend the winter down there. We often think of the conservation work that we do here, how it's important for here, but really Chestnut Mountain has regional, international significance, particularly when it comes to migrant birds.
And Chestnut Mountain demonstrates another connection, proving that corporations and conservation can both be successful by investing in nature together.
It's with great pleasure as Bridgestone and all the team that worked on this that we can finally hand this property off to somebody that will take it and honor it just like we have in the future. So it's really great to give this to them, and we look forward to coming out here on our own as individuals now and enjoying it just like everybody else can.
Wildside is produced by Rockwater TV with support from Tennessee State Parks, where you can discover our state's diverse heritage through spectacular landscapes, family-friendly recreation, and affordable lodging. Tennessee State Parks. fun and adventure naturally. And also with support from Nissan, working together with the Nature Conservancy to fulfill its mission of conserving land and water on which all life depends, and now celebrating 40 years of conservation in Tennessee.